You are about to listen to Getting Home Sourced with Gianno Buonaguro. This is episode 98, titled The Nyc G Show. It was released on June 26th, 2026. Now, enjoy the show.
Welcome to Getting Home Sourced with G, your one-stop shop for all things real estate. Gianno is your go-to guy with over 25 years of experience in the game, serving up the insider scoop on buying, selling, and investing in two of the hottest markets, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Cabo, Mexico. Whether you're looking to score the perfect home, seal the deal on a sale, or dive into the world of international investments, G's got the tips, tricks, and swagger to make it happen. Remember, in Nevada, the smart choice is the right choice. And when it comes to Cabo, you better go oceanside with Cabo G. If you were looking for a quiet, tranquil show about real estate, this ain't it. Gianno has this thing called passion. Let's unleash the beast. This is Welcome to Getting Home Sourced. And now your host, Gianno.
Hey, what do you say? Hey, folks, we are live in New York City. Where else can it be? It is so pretty. I cannot believe I am back home. Here we are live getting home sourced, and we're going mobile, folks. We are on the road again, like the Willie Nelson song, on the road again, right? We got that going as we have our Nyc G Show today. As I'm your host, Gianno, and of course, I like to start off by saying to everybody, especially here on the East Coast, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to where you're listening around the world. Thank you so much. And of course, my newbies, my first-timers, or my second-timers listening in for a couple of shows, thank you so much. I really appreciate you tuning in to Getting Home Sourced. And of course, the engine that drives the Ferrari, you know who you are. It's the family members, the loyal listeners. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in again. And we got another great show here today, folks. But of course, before I start out by getting into the show, because of course we're Nyc G, we're going to be covering what? We got the newsletter, we got our website, we have my toll-free G, 888-528-2810. And for those that are here domestically in the U.S., just put the 702 in instead of the 888 thing. Gianno at VegasHomeSource.com. That should be memorized, folks. That should be like a test, a question. Every time I come out, the first thing you're going to say, up, he's going to give his email. That's right, folks. Gianno at VegasHomeSource.com. Please go on to the website, like, subscribe, share, VegasHomeSource.com. We have the newsletter out. We got a fresh newsletter. I want you guys to check that out. And, of course, we have what? Our Concierge Partnership Program, right? We have to talk about that because it's important, folks. Really seriously important, especially for asset protection. We have the Concierge Tax Benefit Partnership Program, which, again, covers all domestic, international people that are looking to buy property, whether it's in Mexico or in the United States. You have to get that corporate entity locked in, or for domestic, if you want to do a trust, you got to get it locked in, folks. I can't tell you how important that is. Live the corporate life. This is what it's all about. This is what we bring together, folks, to help out clients, customers, friends, whoever. So important to get yourself protected, because what is real estate, folks? It's an asset, and you have to protect that, right? We also have our Concierge Partnership Program here in Las Vegas. So for my builder friends, for my realtor friends that need help getting the property sold, consumers, both the buyer and sellers just looking to see what's going on out there, we also provide that online as well. And if anybody needs any help and assistance with selling their inventory or have questions about buying, of course, that's why you get a hold of me at Vegas Home Source, right? And lastly, Cabo. Again, folks, we got some big things happening coming up here the next couple of weeks. But for right now, we have Kadun Hotel and Medano Massage. Again, 5-minute walk from each other. If you want massages on the beach, overlooking the ocean, beautiful. And you got to check it out. Contact me. I'll get you in touch with the person that's in charge down there. And for Kadoon, folks, if you want that 360 view, you're probably looking at about 200 a night down there. Killer hotel, boutique. It's perfect, and it's right next to Campo Mar. Beautiful restaurant. Reach out to me. We'll get you hooked up there. But for the main show here is where? We're in NYC, folks. New York City. It is the place to be with who else? Vegas G, Cabo G, NYC G. That's the name of the show here, folks. That's what we're doing. We encompass everything because why? We're global. That's how we do it. So as the World Cup is 3 weeks into the tournament, with believe me, folks, a lot of surprising matches that are going on, and quite feisty, I might say. We're getting a little chippy out there in the pitch for some teams, but exciting games to watch. I know a lot of people are having fun rooting for their team, but here live in New York City, what are people really at the residue that's taking place? Because of course I missed it. People are still buzzing about the New York Knicks NBA championship parade. And again, folks, if you haven't seen the parade, for a team to go 53 years and not win a championship, and I'm a big Knicks fan, so for us suffering Knicks fans going on for so long, it's almost like the Toronto Maple Leafs, right, of hockey. For my Canadian friends that are listening, I get it. I know it's a long-suffering road, but you know what? The drought's over for the NBA. We finally got the championship back up. Banner's going to go up again. But again, it's just that excitement factor of sports, and that's what I'm going to tie in here in a little bit. But I have to give the weather forecast, right? Because why else? Because people are like, hey, how's the weather in New York? Well, I'm glad you asked because I'm going to tell you. So the weather's a bit hot right now. It's sticky at times, a little cooler at night. But I got to be honest, it is, I mean, if you're into humidity, then New York City's the place to be. It is warm, but at nighttime, it's comfortable. So it's tolerable, as I say. But the city is busy because a lot of fans have come into town from all over the world and all over the country, for that matter, to root for their teams and see their teams going on right now. And I can tell you right now, on Fifth Avenue, you have the Puma store and you have the Adidas store, and all the merchandise is selling like hotcakes right now because you're not going to see this again for 4 years, let alone in the U.S. So a lot of the teams, they go to a couple different stores, Nike, they have Adidas, they have Puma. So if you're in town, you got to go to Fifth Avenue between 50th Street and 44th Street, and then you can get the merchandise there. Of course, Nike has their own jerseys as well. That's on 52nd and 5th. So you can check that out. You gotta see what's going on around here, folks. If you could feel the vibe and the energy in the city, that's what it's all about. But before I get into that, I did want to take a moment to address an email that was sent to me that had a question, because like I said, folks, before, if you have questions and you want to get them on the air or just you want me to talk about it, this particular individual said, I think you should talk about this on your show. So I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. So this call came in, or email I should say, came in from Clark Z from Toronto, Canada. So, hey, Canada. So he wrote in, thank you for taking my question and taking the time to answer this for me on your show. I think it'd be a great idea for all of your other listeners to check it out. How are the attacks in Mexico affecting some of us looking at rental properties? So again, Clark, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you writing in. And folks, like I said, anytime you have a question before I do a mailbag show, if you want me to address a question, we won't wait. I'll get it on the air right now. And this one I'm not going to wait on. We're getting it on the air right now. So with that being said, again, the answer is really it's no effect, okay? So these attacks are really isolated incidences, especially in Cabo. I know we talked about a couple of weeks ago where they had an incident that took place, and unfortunately, American tourist was basically in the crosshairs between some shootouts and unfortunately what you're doing in an area that technically you shouldn't be in, okay? So let's be honest. Person was at the wrong place at the wrong time, but also in an area where you really didn't want to be in. Nonetheless, something happened and the person, passed away. But also in the mainland a couple months ago, you had a shootout per se between the cartel and also for the government because of what's going on in the mainland area. So all I could tell you is that for Los Cabos, where I service and work and bring clients down there, it is really safe as safe can be for the country. Now, again, for Cancun and for the other tourist corridors and what have you that you're looking at, or mainland, again, like anywhere else you're going to be in the world, you just have to be understanding and be aware of your surroundings and the environment that you're going into. You have to do your homework and see what's going on, just instead of just flying in somewhere. You just don't want to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. But I will say that for Los Cabos folks, it is absolutely safe. It's probably one of the safer, as they call states, Baja California Sur, than the other states that are in Mexico. Because, look, let's be honest, if it was unsafe, you would not have people being down there, relocating down there, living down there, visiting down there, and for me, selling real estate down there. I mean, you're talking about houses anywhere from $200,000 to $20 million on the beach, right? Mansion properties. So seriously, it is safe. Clark, don't worry about it. Everything is okay. But thank you for bringing that to people's attention, because I want people to be aware of what's going on. And like I said, if there's anything that comes out, trust me when I tell you, if there's a major problem, I'm going to say something, because it affects me as well going down there. I would tell people, hey, I'm not going down, this is the situation. But knock on wood, doing this now for 4.5 years, no problems. So life is good down there. And I really encourage people, if you do have any questions or concerns, just contact me, whether it be privately or on the air, and we can address that. So Clark, thank you so much for that question. I hope this answers it, and you'll feel comfortable in coming down to Los Cabos when you're ready. Now,
Debbie, let me show you New York, okay? The buildings, the subway, the bank, the dry cleaner. I gotta run some errands.
Oh, that's a great idea, Gina. Debbie, I'm so sorry. I won't get a chance to see you much on your visit.
Oh, no thing but a chicken wing, because I'm going to be here for 6 weeks. I'm going to be all up in your life, okay?
here in New York City, like I said, it's always great to see football fans running around, right? They're walking, they're energetic, and they're supporting their teams. But it's exciting because of the fact that New York City is what, folks? New York City is a melting pot, okay? You have restaurants, you have culture, museums, art, what have you, that express everywhere around the world on an island, okay, Manhattan Island, and that's what it is. So for that culture and the food and the delicacies and what have you, this is why tourists come all over the world and why it makes New York City such a great international city to visit and just enjoy what? The food, the experiences. We have Central Park. You get that excitement that's all around town. But the reason why I'm here is because why else? It's real estate, folks. And of course, being a realtor, and now that I'm associated with Christie's International Real Estate Group in Los Cabos, now we have Christie's Auction House here in New York, which is in Rockefeller Plaza for all those that don't know. And then Christie location for real estate. So I'm going to be meeting everybody here and getting in touch, exchanging information, and seeing how we can relate, work together, build relationships. We talked about that on last week's show. It's all about relationships, right? So this is why I'm here, kind of getting a pulse and see what's going on and checking out the Christie's organization and see how they're doing in New York, and also working together, letting them know that, hey, now you got a baby boy, which is basically in Los Cabos, Mexico. Now we're back into the Mexico sphere. So now people can actually feel comfortable about working with myself as a Christie's International Global Advisor Realtor, right? So with that being the case, folks, again, for those that don't know, Cabo to New York, I mean, you can go out of the main airports, which is basically JFK or Newark, 6.5 hour flight, nonstop, folks, back and forth. It's that easy, nonstop, perfect, and you'll enjoy the flight. You can sleep, wake up, and you'll be ready to go. But I also say that more and more East Coasters, now for those that don't know what East Coaster is, this is what we call people in the U.S. Since I live on the West Coast, you have a West Coaster, but then you have East Coasters that live in the eastern part of the United States, make their way to Cabo for what? For vacation, but also for investments. So therefore, it's my job to meet everybody that I can back in the city and get the word out and let them know that Cabo Christie's International Real Estate Office is now open for business and we're up and running, because this is what we've been doing for you. So on that note, I want to take a quick New York Minute commercial break, and then when we get back, what else we're going to talk about? We'll just start spreading the news. Stay tuned.
Have you been thinking about a getaway? Do you need a break from the grind? Thinking about hot, sunny beaches and the waves of cool water crashing on your feet? Then get off the couch and call Cabo G on his new toll-free international number, 528-2810. Yes, toll-free. What other realtor has a toll-free number for you to call anywhere in the world? Going oceanside with Cabo G will turn your thoughts into action, as Cabo G can tell you the deals in Cabo, Mexico. When in doubt, give Cabo G a shout.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please take your seats at this time as the program will begin momentarily. Thank you.
Hey, what do you say? Hey, thank you so much for sticking around for the back half of Getting Home Sourced. Who else? I'm your host, Gianno. And again, I want to thank everybody for, again, your email, your support, your participation. Again, I can't emphasize enough. It is relationship building, right? This is what the show's about. It's a community show. I always say it's our show. I'm at everybody's service. So again, please feel free, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. I want this show to be really the biggest real estate podcast show all over the place. Because you know why? We don't need advertisers. There's no advertisers on here except for me. I mean, other shows obviously have that. We don't. We're a mom and pop operation. We're family oriented. This is how I like to keep it, right? It's between us. It's participation. And look, folks, again, like I said, speak about participation. I want to thank you guys for talking to Miss G, my assistant, to help you out with questions that you might have.
Hello.
And also, more importantly, you're going on the website, you're checking out the MLSs, which I say is the multiple listing service. So this is what us realtors use both here in the U.S., especially in Vegas, since I have free MLS in Vegas. I have free MLS in Los Cabos, because I want everybody to not get poached by online search engines that are going to steal your information. We don't do that here. So if you notice, for people that are on there, it's for you to enjoy. It's free. It's easy. Nobody bothers you. You take your time, and when you're ready to purchase or you're ready to sell or you're just doing some investigation, then you reach out. That's what it's all about, and that's what a lot of you have done. So I appreciate you for that, and thank you for trusting me to at least give you the freedom, the privacy, right, to do your own homework and research. But that's what we're here for, to answer questions when you are going through everything. So check it out, VegasHomeSource.com. Go on to the Cabo MLS. You're seeing the same thing, folks, as I'm seeing. You have the map. You can search around. You could zoom in on properties. It's so cool. You're going to love it. And the same thing for Vegas. So, again, I'm here for you if you need it. But now, again, speaking about passion, speaking about life, speaking about emotions, this is what I feel when I walk around the streets of New York City, because it's my home. That's where I was born and raised, okay? And you can sense how magical the city is now. There's like a different type of like uplifting, like it's just calm, but it's joyous and it's happy, because this is what happens when you have a winning team, let's say, that's been suffering for so long. It just brings the community together, folks. It brings people closer, strangers you're talking to, you're happy, you're enjoying things. You don't have to get grumpy, because you can celebrate and share a common interest or goal together, right? So if sports brings people together for life and emotion and passion, so does real estate, folks. And we've been talking about this for a while now, that's what it's all about. Relationships, it's life, it's feeling, it's emotions, it's decision making, it's psychological, right? It's mental, and you have to be able to be prepared to talk to people and help them out, because this is what's the most important of anything. And why? Because again, people need guidance. They want direction. They may know what they want, for selling their property or buying their property, whatever. But again, when you're in a transaction with real estate, what does that bring you as a consumer, right? It brings you joy. It brings you maybe a little bit of nerves, right? You get anxious and what have you, emotion, sentimentality, and it affects you and your family and everybody involved in a transaction, right? Because real estate is just not one-on-one. It's all the parts equal the whole. This is what it is. So it's important to have that communication. Of course, with emotions, you're going to have the ups and twists, let's say. We're not going to say downs. We're going to say ups and twists, because this is what happens, like a roller coaster. We're going all over the place to make a deal happen, right? What is it? It's a group effort, okay? So it takes a team or a group effort to bring everybody together. So here in New York City, where I could feel the joy and the relief and the calm, because why? There was an accomplishment. There was a result. There was an outcome. It was favorable. And this is what happens in real estate when something does happen. It's like that magic moment. A property's been sold, a transaction's been closed. What happens? There's calm, there's joy. So this is the metaphor, folks. Sports and real estate, life and emotion, passion. This is what it brings all together, right? It's the same thing about real estate. Like, I'm joyous and passionate because now I'm under a new umbrella with Christie's International, right? So what's my job? I got to go out and meet other Christie's agents, and in this instance, the auction house in New York, because I want the people around me and I want to be around them. I want to make a difference and hope that I can help them achieve their goals, right? Because it's like an auction house. You're putting items up for sale. They go up on the auction block. Again, emotional, it's sentimental. There's items that get sold. People are spending big money on that. Same thing like real estate, folks. It's not so much of course, there are auctions in real estate when something happens and they have to put a house up for auction to sell, or commercial property as well. But the important thing here is that you need a group around you, strong people to help others. It's what it's all about. That's why it's a service industry. That's why I always say to people, I'm at your service. Because let me say something. Right now with Cabo, okay, so it's a funny story, because as a realtor, I don't take any deal for granted. And again, I'm going to be honest with you, still learning the language in Spanish. I mean, my Spanish is probably about 60%, but I don't take the fact that with obviously the people, the natives and locals living in Cabo, they are very well educated. They're speaking 2-3 languages, which is awesome. Their English is fantastic. Spanish, of course, is fantastic. And they can speak another language, whether it's Italian, French, German, what have you, okay? So I have to give thanks first and foremost to my clients. That's the first thing. Secondly, I give thanks to everybody else around me to help support me and not only grow my business, but also because they're growing my business. I'm a better agent to help people that are out there that are wanting to buy and that are wanting to sell. Okay, so that's why when purchasing real estate in foreign countries, which clients may not be familiar with, and again, there's a lot of people out there, you're looking at different, whether it's Mexico, US, it could be Europe, it could be Asia, where have you, okay, Middle East, what have you. The important thing is that you're going in with this sense of what? Emotion and feeling, okay? Again, mostly nervous, maybe anxious, okay, maybe not, okay, maybe you're a cool customer and you're going in there and you know the drill, but there's always some type of emotion because, again, in real estate, I don't care what anybody says, they're lying to you. It's an emotional thing, okay? And a lot of people are like, it's just business, no big deal. There's always emotion involved when you're doing a purchase and when you're doing an acquisition. A lot of investors that go in there and purchase, they're all about the numbers, but they're still emotional about it. They may not show it or sell it because why would you be buying that property if you weren't attached to it, if you weren't emotional about it? Because the emotion for an investor is that they're going to make a huge profit, right? So if, as an investor, if you're going in there and saying to somebody, hey, it's nothing personal, it's just business, well, that's a wrong answer because it is personal and yet it is business. But that's the whole thing I'm trying to talk about, folks. Sometimes we think about it as business, but we're not taking the human component and touching into the heartstrings that what? Make the transaction move forward, okay? So when you have a sense of emotion, and while being in New York, walking around, meeting business associates for the first time, I'm excited because for me to now walk out and talk to people that I've never met before, but because of a what? A life-changing moment, being that now as a realtor for my business, it affects me both what? Personally and professionally, because now being with Christie's International, now I'm wanting to engage and looking forward to engaging with others under the umbrella. So at the end of the day, hey, same thing with Sotheby's, same thing with Compass, same thing with Century 21. All the other companies that are under the Compass umbrella, we talked about that before. And also here in New York City, this is where the headquarters is at, right? Compass headquarters here in New York City. So basically, they actually own Christie's International. However, but it's independently operated. So it even though it's under the portfolio, and that's the parent company, but all the other brokerages are independently owned and operated, which is kind of interesting because normally when you have a parent company, they would take over and kind of shove their ideas in the company's faces and take over and do their policy. Nope. Christie's is just moving right along, nice and easy. And again, this is the excitement factor because now I can start sharing with people how New York City and Los Cabos, in a way, is kind of connected because why? People are always drawn to what they don't have, or maybe they experience once in their life and they remember that and they cherish it and they want to have that experience and feel it again. So, like again, perfect example, like talking to the auctioneers with Christie's, and I talked about Cabo. They said, "Oh, how's Cabo? What's that like? I've never been there before. Oh, I've heard about it, right? Or they've seen videos about it, what have you." But since I'm down there, eyes on the ground, walking around and breathing it all in, right? Because what do? We talk actual, factual, practical. So we're giving you the information right here. So with the beaches, the wildlife, the relaxed environment, they want to know more because New York is the opposite. It's hustle and bustle. It's grinding. It's energy. You're moving around all over the place and it's zipping around and quick. So, when you talk about that, it kind of puts things into perspective about the environment that you're in and the environment that maybe you so desire to choose, right? That's different from inside our own little, bubble. It's our daily routine. It's our daily life, right? So what's that quick getaway? So a quick fun fact, because when I was sharing a Cabo story with the auctioneer, so I'm going to share that with you because I think it's important to kind of get more, factual, actual, bringing the information, right? So in Cabo, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but 4 out of every 10 marine mammals are located in Los Cabos. That's right. Marine mammals, 4 out of 10. That's 40% of the world's marine life, okay? All in Cabo, in that peninsula area. I mean, are you kidding me or what? They said, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, because it just has an abundance of life, and it's just like exciting, both on the earth and underwater. You cannot believe that's why people go down there for fishing. They go whale watching. You could see orcas, you could see humpback whale, you see dolphins, stingrays, and what have you, and then turtles, and then you have the different type of fishes, and it's unbelievable. It's like an abundance of life, and this is what it is. And then on top of that, you have what? You have desert because you have the Baja. You have mountains. You also have ocean abundance, and then you also have what we call the Sierra La Laguna, which has many lagoons in the Baja California Sur that actually, folks, are 6,000 feet and a little bit higher, but approximately 6,000 feet above sea level. So also with that, what else comes with the lagoon? You have 7 indigenous birds that are specific to the Baja California Sur area, and that just brings what? More value, more lifestyle, more eco-friendly, more nature, outdoors. And let me tell you something, folks, you can't put a price tag on that type of experience and that type of lifestyle. So that's why when I say with the auction house, I mean, you could sell items, jewelry, cars, houses, possessions, paintings, what have you. It just doesn't beat being live and sticking your feet in the ocean and having all this abundance of wildlife just coming on around you. And then also, not even talking about, that's just the wildlife. I mean, that's just birds and fish and mammals and stuff. But also, you have the wild horses up there, and you also have burros, which are the donkeys that run around up and down the streets, and some goats. So this is what I'm saying, folks. In an isolated area, geography-wise, if you look at the map of the Baja California Sur, it goes to Baja California, right, which is north, and then you put a line in the middle, and then below that, you have the Baja California Sur. For that small, tiny patch of landmass, and you have all this, surrounding water around it, and then with the wildlife and what have you, it really, there just is no place on earth that can combine lifestyle with nature and eco-friendly, and this is what it is right now, just like New York, okay? Because New York is what? New York is an island, okay? So it's a big city. It's the concrete jungle, as everybody calls it, right? At least we do here in the U.S. But what's the correlation here, folks? Okay? The difference is that, like the Pericos were the original settlers of Los Cabos, right? And then you had the Jesuits that came in, and then the Jesuits spread their mission, okay? And they landed in Loreto, and then from Loreto they went north and south, preaching their message, preaching the different culture, the development backgrounds that attracts everybody. As well as, okay, folks, trivia question, who founded New York? Okay, so who settled in here? Who built New York? The Dutch. Okay, the Dutch is what happened over here. It was New Amsterdam, and then after they had there go, then the British came in, changed it over to New York and what have you, but it's Dutch influence, okay? It's the British influence. So you have that coming into New York, which is very highly concentrated in New York City. When you look at the lower area where the old Freedom Tower now, but the old World Trade Center area, Wall Street, what have you, all the old buildings and what have you, and then when you go up through Central Park and what have you, that's where everything starts to grow and build. So this is what I'm saying, like New York City as an island, Los Cabos, you have that as a peninsula island per se, okay, with water and everything. But the two are melting pots in two different parts of the world, folks, okay? It is literally a connection in some capacity. I mean, cultures, you have different cultures. You have, again, Cabo's becoming now a cultural destination, an international destination. Obviously, New York's already established that, but now Cabo's bringing in different flavors. You're getting different people from all over the world, folks, that are relocating, they're investing, or they're traveling and they're visiting and they're staying short-term for a while. But the point is that it's not a sleepy fishing town anymore. It's growing, it's evolving. The infrastructure, a little bit behind. It's catching up, though, but it's a little bit behind. It could be better, and I think it will be better. But what is it? It's magic. It's magical every time you get off the plane and you're in Cabo. It's magic every time you get off the plane and you're in New York City. That's the correlation that I see because, again, being in both places and coming from New York and living in Cabo and back and forth and what have you, I mean, I just draw those comparisons together because it's like big brother and little brother, but they're equal. Again, look, they're different in a lot of ways, of course, but they're equal in a lot of other ways that people just
How much do you pay for rent in New York?
just don't realize because we get caught up with what? Too much distraction, too much diversion, too much noise. You have to just break it down to a simplistic form, and that's what I try and do. So this is why I wanted to draw the comparisons between the two as much because, again, my heart's always a New Yorker. I'm always a New Yorker, first and foremost. That's never going to change. But both cities have what? They have heart. They have culture. They have passion. And real estate is international in both areas, folks. Let's not kid ourselves. This is what's happening in Cabo. People just think that it's just mainland Mexico coming over, developing, or maybe some Canadians and Americans. That's it. No, it's more than that. You're having everybody from all over the world that are, I mean, again, and I can tell too, because by listening to the show and talking to people and getting the feedback from wherever you are, everybody's interested in Cabo because they know what the opportunity is down there. They know the lifestyle. They know the cleanliness. They know the safety. They don't listen to the drama. There's not that much drama that goes on and everywhere else. We don't have a lot of that nonsense that goes on in other parts of the world, right? But it's also hustle down there too. I mean, this is what they do for a living, right? Whether it's the taxi drivers, limo drivers, hotel, street vendors, when you're running around, whatever. It's all a hustle, folks. That's what life is. It's fun and it's enjoyable. And folks, if you've been to Cabo, you know what I'm talking about. Being on the beaches or being in the downtown area, they're walking around, the vendors are selling whatever they could sell. Hey, same thing in New York, folks, no big difference, okay? They're selling handbags, Gucci bags, whatever. Down there, they're selling sombreros, they're selling beads and bracelets and ponchos and what have you. The point is what? It's the hustle, but it also comes back to what? Emotions. It comes back to life, okay? It comes back to passion. And this is taking the time to be what? Grateful and appreciative. And that's what I do, folks. I see what's going on all over the place, and I'm just so grateful and happy to be in New York, to be back home when I can visit, to just embrace it all in. And just like in Cabo, going down there as well, getting off the plane, walking around, just looking at the beauty of everything. New York has beauty. Every city's got beauty, okay? But the thing is, it's about gratitude. You have to be appreciative. I always, again, before thanking my clients, I also thank the other side of the transaction because I'm grateful because of the moment that I'm in, because you don't know when that moment's going to come back again, okay? So like I always say before, every moment becomes a memory. And I think it's important that people just don't understand that. Let me say it again. Every moment becomes a memory because, and again, you're not going to have the same moment all the time, okay? Or they always say, oh my God, that was once in a lifetime, right? Or that magic moment that might not come again or what have you. But the point is that that's why we want to have these pictures in our head. We always want to be uplifting and upbeat and positive and bring energy, because that's what it's all about, folks. And this is why with real estate, I like to tie it in, okay? Because as an agent, as a broker, or what have you, it really is a true life event when you're buying, selling, and investing in real estate and helping others doing that. So this is the points that I wanted to take advantage of and share. And just, again, the bottom line is don't ever take anything for granted, because I get reminded of this every time I come back to the city and I look around and I'm like, wow. I mean, I remember when I was here, as a kid, I remember going up and going to school and looking around, and yeah, things change, but the neighborhood's still the same. The buildings might be gone, but and the different buildings take its place. But again, what's the other line that I use? You could take the boy out of the city, but you can't take the city out of the boy. That's just what it is. That's where anywhere you are, same thing, boy, girl, whatever. I'm just saying, I'm speaking on behalf of myself, but that's the excitement. That's the joy. That's the emotion. That's the compassion. That's what I breathe in, and that's what I want to breathe out to all of you. Because let me ask you a question. Take a moment for a second. See where you are in your life. Now, then ask yourself, who helped you get to where you are? And when you think about that, when was the last time you thanked them lately? And also, did you, think about the fact that, did you give them, appreciation? Did you give them compassion when they helped you along the way? Okay. Did you thank them for the gifts in your life path that they put you on? The gifts of knowledge, the gifts of strength, the gifts of education. It doesn't matter what it is. At the end of the day, it's just important to know, take the time out, be appreciative, be grateful, be thankful. And again, and to end the show, I'm going to end you with 2 quotes. First quote is, a goal without a plan is what? A wish. Okay. Secondly, what you're not changing, what are you doing? You're choosing. Okay. So I thank you for choosing this show and making this show part of your family, right? Part of your passion, part of your excitement. You're always looking forward to listening to the show, what we're going to come out and say, because we know the show is great. And if it wasn't for all of you, it wouldn't be great. Okay, so that's where I give my thanks. And you know that. I always give thanks and appreciation to everybody, because again, it's all of you that make this special. It's all of you that make this our show, okay? Because without you guys, it's not possible. That's why attitude equals gratitude. We're family here. We're passionate about what we're doing. We're emotional about what we're doing. We're a tight-knit family. We're just going to keep growing the family, folks, because we're here for each other. And you know why? Because life is like real estate, and this is our bond, and this is what draws us and connects us all. And on that note, I want to say, love you guys. Thank you guys. God bless. I hope you're in the city. Come find me. And if not, that's okay. We're going to be back here again soon. But the main thing is that we got a lot of good things happening here in Los Cabos coming up when I get back, and I can't wait to share that with you. So God bless. Take care. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
You have just listened to Getting Home Sourced with your radio host, Gianno Buonaguro. This podcast is a registered trademark and may not be reproduced without the express written consent of VegasHomeSource.com. For additional information about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, call or text Gianno toll-free at 888-528-2810 or visit his website at VegasHomeSource.com. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.